you done? On your feet! Get them going!
Forgot my... Sorry, I'm rusty. Forgot to add myself to the stage, although I've done that when I wasn't rusty too, so I have no excuse. Welcome one and all to Cross Examinations Live. I'm your host, Mike S. Miller. I'm not a pastor, priest, rabbi, theologian, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'm just a guy on the internet talking about Bible stuff because I've learned a few things and I want to share them with you. Today's topic, at least before the squirrels take over, is who wrote the Book of Mormon? Who wrote the Book of Mormon? Dustin Cross says, I'm pretty sure it was a guy named John Smith. Oh, hold on. I think that was Pocahontas. Maybe they're related. A lot of Smiths related to each other, right? Tree Goblin says, Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote the Book of Mormon. DJ Peterson says, hopefully not the guy who wrote Hebrews. What's up, DJ, Tex and Cap, Tree Goblin, Amy, Lester, Dustin Cross, BT Zealot, March Hare, and anyone who's not saying hello in the chat. What's up, everybody? Should we just jump into the topic, or should we just say hi for a minute? Hi. And what's up, Joe? Joe K600, our erstwhile Greek Orthodox companion from the other side of the world. I feel like my throat's drying up already. How weird. Tree Goblin has seen the Book of Mormon stage show twice. Best show ever. All right. Book of Mormon. We can let it warm up. There's probably a few more who will jump in a bit. That's true. I wasn't even going to do a show today. I was busy. I was working on a punk rock punchline drawing. And I was watching a Wiggle stream, I guess from yesterday. And the Bible came up as a topic. And I was just I was like, man, I wish I watched this live. I would have jumped in. Because some blowhard on Twitter was saying, you can't prove the Bible, and apparently atheists have the better argument. I don't know what their argument was. Just stupid. But I'm like, I just responded on Twitter that God is axiomatic. The creation and the design of the universe is axiomatic. It is self-evident. For those of you who don't know what axiomatic means, it is completely self-evident. There's design literally everywhere in the universe, from the micro to the macro, scopic, that is, microscopic to the macroscopic. And even in things we can't fathom, there is design. The very laws of nature, there's design literally everywhere. Design requires a designer. So it's a self-evident truth that the universe was designed. Now, the atheist argument, and they've got all these years of compiling falsity over falsity and theory over theory. That's what they do. I have a theory, but I have another theory. And then I layer my theory on top of my theory. Pretty soon you've got so many theories, you believe your theories are true. And all you're trying to do is overwrite the obviousness. I do art. I just showed some. See, art. I am, however, multifaceted, so I do have other interests, and yeah, speaking truth to power is one of them. If you're going to fabricate an angel, why name him Moron Eye? I know, really weird. The hell scene includes Hitler dancing with Jeffrey Dahmer. Is Gandhi in there? Mike, do you know how Edwin is doing? I seen Hawaii was getting pretty hammered. Edwin is in North Carolina now, brother. He ever since his apartment burned down and his father-in-law and his dog, which certain people make fun of because they're disgusting human beings. Anyways, that's another topic. Yeah, he moved back to North Carolina. So yes. Anyways, so yeah, God, a creator, power greater than us, greater than the universe itself, is axiomatic. Everything else is, it's like people say, oh, you have to prove God's true. No, you don't. God is axiomatic. You have to, the onus of the burden is on the atheist who wants to try to explain how nothing exploded and became design. And they can't. But here's the problem. They can believe it. I mean, the Bible says the fool in his heart says there is no God. So they can believe it, prove themselves to be foolish. But whatever. I'm tired of people saying you have to prove God. It's like, no, you don't. No, literally, most of mankind throughout the entire history of mankind, and it wasn't because they are ignorant, it's because they look at things and you're like, wow, that's totally and obviously designed. I mean, flowers and bees are designed to work together. One could not evolve without the other. And then two generations before Charles Darwin was born, Erasmus Darwin and John Lamarck came up with a little theory called evolution. Most people think it was Charles Darwin that came up with it. No, Charles Darwin sat on Grandpa's knee, and Erasmus Darwin came up with this theory of evolution, which was based on, I can't remember what it was called, his mechanisms for how things could have created themselves. It wasn't exactly the same as Charles Darwin. Charles sort of evolved the theory of evolution from Grandpa. But you can go on Amazon today and still buy Erasmus Darwin's book on the topic. He published a book on evolution. I would say 99.9% of people out there don't know that. But it's true. People will say, oh, no, it doesn't prove it. And I'm like, go freaking buy his book. You can find it. What is up with YouTube? I was having trouble getting chat to pop up. I don't have any clue, brother. And so, yeah, whenever someone says you have to prove God, no, that's you're in the thin majority of people, the thin minority of people alive today and throughout the entire history of planet Earth that think that God is not axiomatically true. So the onus is on you. You have to convince us somehow or another that everything from the microscopic to the not even just microscopic, to the atomic, right? To the very building blocks of reality, if this is reality, if this is not a hologram, which even if it's a hologram, that means there's a programmer for the hologram. But even from the subatomic particle level, this universe is designed and follows rules, right? Follows laws. Laws require a lawgiver. Everything in this universe that is created requires an intelligence to have created it. And holograms don't just happen. I think it's actually funny that some of the smartest guys in the world are like, yeah, I'm pretty, like some of them are 100% sure we're in a hologram. It's funny. Dennis, what's up, Dennis? To the Higgs boson particle. I haven't looked that up. Haven't seen you stream in a long while. It's been a gap. It's been a bit of a gap. After my stroke, is just not really up for it. And I'm not really up for doing it every day either. I don't like my voice still isn't comfortable speaking in long durations. It's like it's I don't know. I think the more tired I get, the more I'm gonna slur and stuff. So whatever. Bit solid. 99% of the world believes in God. The question really is, do believe him? The question really is, do believe him? We'll try that again, BT. What? Stroke? You look good. I hope you're recovering well. It's been 9 weeks? 9 or 10 weeks. So I'm hopefully getting close to being fully recovered, but not completely yet. Maybe when I am, I'll get back on the horse and just stream regularly. See, that's like that tongue twister. Regularly. That's when my tongue's like, no, I'm not going to work completely. I'm gonna trip you up. So I guess I need to exercise my tongue. Maybe I do need to stream more so that I can talk more, so that I can exercise my tongue more, so that I can speak clearly more better. Cross-examiners, that's the particle that CERN discovered holding everything or anything together. Interesting. Yeah, because that's the question. Is like, that's a question I think they've had in physics for a while. It's like, if you go to the subatomic level, they say there's a strong force or a strange force or a strong force that's holding each and every atom in the universe together, because according to the laws of physics, attraction and repulsion, the like forces of the atom, like the neutron and the electron, I think, they're like forces and they should repel each other, but they don't, and they can't explain it. So they call it a strong or strange. If somebody knows, let me know in the chat. I'm having a hard time remembering, but something's holding the entire universe together, atom by atom, single atom by single atom. That's God. Hate to tell you. You're a trooper, Mike. Oh, thank you. For 9 weeks, you look like you're doing really well. That's great. Thank you, DJ. Wow, I've been out of the loop. Prayers for continued recovery. Thank you. I'm just trying to keep my blood pressure down. It's driving me nuts. It's like I'll have a nice lowering curve doing all the stuff I'm doing, and then like out of the blue, I'll have a day where it's like up to 140 or more. And it's like, come on, man. Great. All this bacon talk is making me hungry. Are you watching another stream? You're doing right, Mike. Thank you. Tina, 90% of the world believes in God. The question should be, do you believe in him? There you go. That's correct. Tree goblin, particles moving through the Higgs field are given mass. Proton. Okay, not electron, right? Higgs, not high. Okay. So it's like someone is holding the world together by the word of their power, right? They also call it the God particle. Interesting. How are the grandkids, Mike? Oh, they're so cute. I spent all day with them yesterday. My daughter has actually been staying with us and her husband for the past couple of weeks. They plan on moving in, and okay, they plan on cleaning up the room in the garage and cleaning up the whole garage and moving in there, but their plan requires effort, and so they've been staying in the living room. They went home last night, but it's been so cute just having my little grandbaby staying here with us. So I love my grandchildren. I love them so much. It's just the cutest little things on earth. So yeah, hibiscus tea I think is good for blood pressure. That's one of the things. Yeah, that's true. Bacon talk. We talking Islam? No, we're gonna be talking We're going to be talking the Book of Mormon, and it's who wrote it? Who actually wrote the Book of Mormon? Particles are given mass. I didn't know they were Catholic. Yes. All right. I think we got enough people in here waiting for us to get to what's up, Retrofuturist? Getting to. Oh, by the way, I want to show you guys something. I know I'm totally discombobulated. Where did I put the darn thing? Is that it? No, that's not it. There it is. Look, guys. I did a full. This is gonna look terrible in the green screen, but I did a full color original Afar piece. Which, let me turn the green screen off. Boop. There you go. Look at that. And then I threw in a background sky, like a watercolor sky on Photoshop. But oh my gosh, it's like so bad. Gosh darn it. The colors are not coming through. Oh, there we go. Too much light coming on it. But anyways, Afar will be launching soon. So I hope you guys who've been waiting for it are going to jump in on that when we do launch it. It will be a book. It will be a book. I'll give you more information soon on when that launches. Book of Mormon from Ripperger, a Catholic priest and exorcist, said in an interview, the angel that appeared was likely a demon. I wish he would have elaborated. Well, let me elaborate then, Dennis, because there's an interesting thing about our old friend Joseph Smith. And that is, when Joseph Smith was a lad, he was what we call a treasure hunter. And he was actually arrested as a lad for treasure hunting. What was it called? There's an arrest record of him, and it was for, let me see what the arrest record was called. In late 1825, Joseph Smith worked for Josiah Stowell, sometimes spelled Stowell. Not that you can see the difference. Gosh dang bones, stop buzzing. People are trying to message me. In South Bainbridge, Chenango County, New York. It was a misdemeanor charge related to his involvement in glass looking or treasure seeking using a seer stone or a peep stone, which, by the way, he didn't invent. This was a very common practice in early 19th century folk magic. I'll read that again. Folk magic in rural New England, New York, where many people believed in money digging or treasure seeking with seers. The venture didn't find anything, and some of Stowell's relatives, possibly his nephew Peter Bridgman, sons, or others, felt Smith was deceiving or defrauding Stowell by pretending to have supernatural abilities to locate lost goods or treasure. I'll come back to that. The arrest and charge. The complaint was filed accusing Smith of being a disorderly person or an imposter. He was arrested by Constable Philip Dzang. His court records from Justice of the Peace Albert Neely described him as Joseph Smith, the glass looker. And the case list was a misdemeanor. This stemmed from New York laws against pretending to discover lost goods or engaging in practices seen as fraudulent or vagrant-like. It was more preliminary examination than full trial. Witnesses testified, including Stoll himself, who defended Smith and said that he believed in Smith's abilities, his magic abilities, let me remind you, and that Smith had not defrauded him. Other accounts mention Smith admitting to using the stone, but saying he had largely given it up. Some contemporary and later accounts suggest he was found guilty or condemned as a disorderly person, but faced no serious punishment, possibly discharged, allowed to escape, or simply released with no further action. Official Church of Latter-day Saints history describes it as resulting in no serious legal consequences, which means they admit that this is all true, viewing it as part of an early persecution. Early persecution. So before the Book of Mormon was written, he was being persecuted, apparently. No imprisonment, blah, blah, blah. This was widely regarded as his earliest known arrest. Later arrests were tied to emerging religious movement. All right. So let's get back to, what is that? Folk magic, 19th century folk magic. Did I freeze? Did I freeze? Am I back? It's because, does it freeze my freaking thing when I'm on another screen? That's ridiculous. The old book, The Kingdom of the Cults, gives a thorough account of Smith and the beginnings of his religion, along with several other cultic religions. Oh. Do I still have that book? I used to have that book. I wonder if I still have it. I'm good now. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's the problem. Is like if I'm on another screen, gosh, why does it do that? Why does my camera freeze if I'm looking at another thing? Anyways, I read all that to say that obviously, so the looking glass, the seer stone, all of that stuff, that predates Joseph Smith. He didn't make that up, right? It was, like it said, folk magic around that time. What it is divination. It is widely known. This is and things like seer stones, looking glasses, crystal balls, dark mirrors. I mean, this stuff goes back thousands of years, and it's always been known as divination. It's trying to contact spirits that are not God for direction and for guidance, right? The Bible is very explicit. It's not Urim and Thummim. All right, so the Urim and the Thummim is a black and a white stone that they would put in a bag, and it's basically flipping a coin, right? You would ask God to direct which stone to pull out of the bag to make a decision. That is not that Joseph Smith's seer stone was. It was brown and striped. I can get a picture of it if you want. But yeah, tarot cards, Ouija boards. This is essentially what a seer stone was, right? So the Bible is so explicit about not trying to reach demons or quote unquote other gods for guidance and stuff, because what happens when you allow a spirit into your life, you can be possessed, you can invite generational curses. It's all kind of just gnarly stuff, right? And the Bible's very explicit not to do this stuff. And if you've you guys ever seen The Exorcist, right? Where the kid's playing with the Ouija board, invites a demon into her life, and then she gets possessed by the demon. The Exorcist was based on a true story. That's the scariest thing about The Exorcist. Now, it was a boy. It was a boy that this happened to. It wasn't a girl. I don't know why they changed it to a girl. Probably because it just seems creepier. But yeah, you're opening doors to negative and demonic stuff. And this is what Joseph Smith was doing when he's 20 years old. He's opening the door to demonic spirits coming into his life. Then you go to the Bible, which obviously specifically says not to do. In fact, I believe it says you're supposed to be killed if you're doing this kind of stuff, because this is dirty, dirty stuff. It is just straight up speaking to demons stuff. And then later in the Bible, it says that if an angel of God or an angel of light, is it an angel of light, delivers you any other gospel than this, let him be accursed. In other words, don't listen to him. So what happened to Joseph Smith? He invites spirits into his life with these divination techniques, right? The fruits of the church, so good. Well, that's a interesting question. Let me think about that real quick. But so if you've entertained demons, a demon has come in and a demon has delivered another gospel. And actually, that's the answer. It's the other gospel. It's the gospel that turns you away from the truth of Christ, right? The devil's not stupid, right? He started with Muhammad, 700 AD. And it was an angel that delivered the new gospel to Muhammad that was he corrupted the true scriptures and gave this quote unquote, I don't want to use the word gospel, but it is, it's like any other gospel. Well, this is their version of a gospel, right? And he was the most beautiful angel. So, you have a beautiful angel and he gives all of this stuff to an illiterate dude in the Middle East, right? 700 years after Christ. Well, that was one tact to take. So I think Muhammad's, or when the fallen angel, the demon, gave Muhammad the Quran, it was a tact. It was basically, taking over by the sword, right? And diverting people into what they thought was an Abrahamic faith, but obviously it leads to much more corrupt stuff. Come around 1,000 years later to Joseph Smith. Do I think I'm just follow the story here. When you've got another 1,000 years under your belt, right? And you see what the Quran is doing, and then you come over to the Americas and you want to turn people away from Christ in a different way. You want to do it in a way that's more conducive to a modern reformist Western Western, I'll just say Western sort of a mindset, right? The crazy thing is Muhammad thought he was attacked by a demon. He had to be convinced by others that it was the angel from God. Thank you, Dan Marshall. Calvinists don't care about fruits. In fact, they hate fruits and works. That's why it's because they have none. Calvinism is demonic and ironically. All right, well, let's not get into John Calvin right now. So it's a different tact. And so he took a tact that, well, I mean, first of all, let's not forget the Mountain Meadows Massacre and what they did do. And Shad talks about this all the time. It's like we do have a very, like, I don't want to say warlike, but they have kind of that same mentality that Mormons preach, where it's like, well, we're not going to attack anybody, but if they attack us, we're gonna end them, right? Muslims will say that. Not all Muslims, obviously. You've got more Muslims that are more hit them first, hit them hard. But there are Muslims that say that their thing is we only fight if we fought back, or we only fight back if we are attacked, right? And that is very. Mountain Meadows Massacre was done by some LDS people. It was not ordered by the church. It was leaders of that area of the church. It wasn't ordered by Brigham Young, but it was covered up by Brigham Young. You can't deny that because he knew about it, or if he didn't know about it at the time, he found out about it, right? And if he found out about it, then he covered it up because the freaking church covered it up for like 100 years before the internet came out. And D-Rod, if you're my age and you were raised in the Mormon church, you would not have known about the Mountain Meadows massacre until the 90s when the internet started revealing it to people. This is, like I said, I'm the one that told Ethan Van Sciver about the Mountain Meadows massacre, and he didn't believe me because he's my age. Well, he's a little younger, and he was raised in the church, but they didn't tell him. They didn't tell him nothing. They don't tell you stuff like that, but they have to now, and they have to. Not preaching about it is not a cover-up. So, like, you don't have to preach about it, but you kind of have to admit it. I think you're being disingenuous and removing the context of the Mormons being slaughtered for no reason that made the LDS people justifiably jumping. They slaughtered an entire wagon train of peaceful people just moving through Utah, and then blamed it on the Paiute, and then covered it up for 1,000 years or 100 years. That's not disingenuous. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. Show me anywhere in the first century where the apostles, and it would have been the apostles, right? It would have been the first generation after Christ, hunted down and slaughtered a traveling group of Jews who hated Christians. It's the other way around. They killed those people and stole their children, bringing them up as Janissaries. That's what the Turks did. Yeah, they killed everyone over the age of 7, if I recall correctly. The apostles aren't members of the church. What? The apostles? Oh, the first generation of the church aren't just the apostles. Correction. No, but these were leaders. Look, it wasn't just random low freaking nobodies. Yeah, it's cool. All right. No, I'm not going to ban thee, Rod. No. It was leaders of the church. It wasn't the prophet, but it was leaders of the church in that area that slaughtered and then covered up. So, okay, not the apostles, but they would have been disciples. These guys would have been disciples of Joseph Smith, right? Not just disciples of Brigham Young. And regardless, they would have been disciples of Brigham Young too. It was literally just lay members of the church, not leaders. Yeah, X to doubt. And anyways, you're missing the grander point. The prophet and the apostles of the church and your 70, what do you call them? Your 70 leaders. All of those people covered it up for 100 years. You're literally making the same argument that all Christians aren't good, so that means Jesus isn't good. Well, now you make the argument that Jesus isn't good, or at least he wasn't good enough to pick apostles that were good enough to pass his message down to their disciples. Because you literally say that the the church fell into apostasy with the apostles, or at the death of the apostles. That's literally the stance of the Mormon church, that as soon as the apostles were gone, the church fell into apostasy, which makes Jesus the worst religious leader in history at picking people to spread his message. What do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? Liar. It's not a cover-up if it was known. You are just making up nonsense. How old are you, Geek Out? Because I'm telling you, you would not have known this growing up in the Mormon church if you're my age. And you would have disbelieved anybody who told you otherwise. It's like the Kinderhook plates. The LDS church covered up that they were a hoax until 1981, and then they admitted they were fake. I mean, there's so much to go into. That event was included in American Primeval, according to the director in an interview with Rogan, with some consent from the Mormon church. It was. That was a great series, American Primeval. You should watch that. So Jesus made a mistake in picking Judas. I guess the people don't have free will then. Does that address what I said? We all know why he picked Judas, right? Because it was part of the plan of salvation. So that's a non-argument. Face the argument that I made. He picked 12 apostles. I include Paul in that. As soon as the apostles died, the apostles were so inept in teaching what Jesus wanted them to teach that all 12 of them failed completely to teach what Jesus wanted them to teach. That is the Mormon position. You can't tell me otherwise. I've heard it from freaking every Mormon. The apostles, as soon as the apostles were gone, the church fell into apostasy. What does that mean? Jesus, God on earth, picked the 12 worst possible candidates to spread his good news? Huh? Oh, but Joseph Smith picked perfect apostles, huh? Joseph Smith was so much better at picking followers than Jesus was. Right? Right? Joseph Smith's perfect. Jesus failed. Okay. Mormons not knowing about a random slaughter conducted by random Mormons is not a cover-up. That's silly. Geek Out, I take it you're a Mormon. 500 people saw him ascend. They were apostles. They weren't the 12 apostles. They were disciples. I think there's a difference between apostles and disciples. See, the apostles had disciples. And apparently all 12 of the apostles that Jesus hand-picked, hand-selected, face-to-face, even Paul, who, Jesus saw on the road to Damascus, were all hand-picked by Jesus, and they were all complete and total failures to teach his truth. But Joseph Smith was perfect at picking his apostles, except for that one guy that saw him committing adultery right before he said, "Oh, wait, I got another revelation. We should be polygamists." Muslims teach the same thing. I've seen some say that Paul twisted the gospel away from what Jesus taught. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I see a lot of people as if LOL logic is hard for Mike. You're not dealing with what I said. You're not dealing with what I said. Tell me how these 12 handpicked apostles from Jesus were so inept at their job that they couldn't pass the message and the teachings of Christ one generation. Not one single generation could they pass their teachings without falling into apostasy. Tell me. Joseph Smith made a decision on the awesome Jesus. You made a straw man. After the argument isn't that the impostor has failed, it's that the people of the church, like the Catholic Church, failed. The Catholic Church didn't exist for 300 years. What are you talking about? No, you say, and I know you believe it, so don't deny it, that the apostasy started as soon as the apostles died. Catholic Church, Orthodox Church, Ethiopian Church, doesn't matter. You say the apostasy was as soon as the apostles died, meaning exactly what I said. All of his apostles were inept at spreading the gospel. Joseph Smith made a decision on the awesome Jesus. You made a straw man. I don't understand what that means. Joseph Smith made a decision on the awesome Jesus. You made a straw man. Can you fill that out for me? Anyways, the point being, obviously, made it on behalf. Correction. Lerod, maybe slow down and use all the words you need. False. It is not the Mormon claim. As soon as. Nope. Straw man. Okay. Geek out loud. Please tell me exactly when the apostasy happened. I do not believe the apostasy happened after Jesus' diagram. I just think the people following the apostles weren't listening very well. See? Geek out loud? That's exactly what I just said. The people following the apostles, they just weren't listening very well. So, which means the apostles failed to teach them very well. There is no date of the apostasy. Well, you have to put a line on it, because the early church fathers were following the teachings of, as in the direct disciples of the apostles had teachings, and you guys believe, because they were tending towards Trinitarianism, right? They were teaching the Trinity, that they were in apostasy right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. Jesus also, then Jesus came to the Americas, started a church. He taught himself another church which failed completely, right? Completed by Nicaea. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take a break. I'm in the car and use text-to-speech. Oh, okay, that explains it. The date of the apostasy was in 1829. There was another apostasy. Actually, I mean, there were apostasies, but as the Bible says, there will always be a remnant who are true. So the church itself could never go into apostasy. The gates of hell could not prevail against the church. What was it? I'm going to get this wrong if I say it. Apostasy, a sea of pasta. No, but I mean, it's patently obvious that Joseph Smith was messing around with divination. Divination is a doorway to demonic possession, right? And then if you're demon possessed and you write a new gospel, not one preached by the apostles, then the Bible's just point blank clear. Let him be anathema. You should not be paying attention. You should not be following the teachings of an angel that teaches a gospel other than the gospel that the apostles were teaching. If you think Mormonism is demonic, I think it's sly. I don't think it's satanic and then like they're trying to teach you to do evil things. I think it's a sleight of hand. It's like Joseph Smith. Look, man, Joseph Smith, bro, stole his followers' wives. Is that something Jesus would teach? That's certainly not something that the Bible teaches, because the Bible teaches explicitly that if you're a leader of the church, you are to be the husband of one wife, one single wife. And it says it, I think, 3 times. If you're to be a deacon, if you're to be a bishop, if you're to be a pastor, you are to be the husband of one wife. Clear as day teaching. But then again, you guys only believe the Bible when it agrees with Joseph Smith, because Joseph Smith is your God, not Jesus. I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you make Joseph Smith your God, you're no longer following Jesus. If you're not following Jesus, I think you're going to be in trouble. The Bible also calls out leaders accumulating wives. I mean, it's clear as day. It's a crystal clear admonition for who should lead the church, and they should only have one wife. Joseph Smith got caught in adultery with, I think her name was Sally, by one of the other leaders of the church, right? Who ratted on him, and then Joseph Smith had that dude excommunicated. Does that sound like a Jesus move? Does that sound like a Peter move or a Paul move? Or does that sound like someone's so high on his own power? And that's a funny thing about cults, right? The cult leader usually is the one banging all the women. And then what's even more egregious, if you really believe in Mormonism, what's more egregious than even just earthly adultery? Joseph Smith stole the sealed wives, sealed unto eternal heaven, right? He stole the sealed wives of his followers and sealed them to himself for his eternal wives. I mean, I don't believe in Mormonism, but if you believe in Mormonism and you believe in the sealing unto eternal freaking families and all that stuff, that should disgust you about 1 billion times more than him just committing adultery, right? Because that is an eternal adultery. An eternal adultery. And he did it, 30, 40 times? He stole the sealed wife. He would send his followers out on missions, and then while they were gone, he'd be like creeping up, hey, Sarah Jane, God told me that you should be sealed to me eternally. But I'm already sealed to Jim. Well, God told me that sealing doesn't count. What? Now that's your response? That's your response? That I'm obsessed? Rather than you thinking about that and saying, wow, that is kind of the most effed up thing a leader in a church could do, is eternally steal another man's eternally sealed wife. And Joseph Smith did it dozens of times. Rather than you thinking about that, you ask me why I'm obsessed with Mormonism. You want to meditate on that for a bit? Why is it you're deflecting what should be your outrage to Joseph Smith onto questioning why I'm obsessed with Mormonism? Huh? Romans 7 says we are spiritually married to Christ, right? I'm not meditating on your lie. What was the lie? What was the lie? This is church record. You look it up, geek out, bro. You look it up in your own sources. How many wives did Joseph Smith have? Where did he get those wives? Who were those wives married to beforehand? Look it up in your own records. If the Mormon church isn't still lying to you, look it up. Or if you're allowed to. Are you allowed to look this stuff up? I know you're not allowed to look this stuff up while you're on missions. You're not even allowed on the internet, right? While you're on missions. Not allowed to talk to your own family. Not allowed to look up all these questions. Look it up. You want me to look it up for you? I'll go look it up. Let's get into it. List of Joseph Smith's wives and who they were married to before he married them. Let's just go down. This is very easy. Muhammad also took another man's wife too, his adopted son's wife. He scared his adopted son so much that he divorced her to let the prophet marry her. Okay, so just like Joseph Smith got caught in adultery, and then after he was caught in adultery, he had a vision from God that said, "Oh, God wants us to be polygamous." Whoopsie. Muhammad also, he had the hots for his adopted son's wife, but because it's haram to take the wife of your son, he abrogated adoption. He wanted her so bad that he unadopted his son and said, adoption is haram. So there's no adoption in Islam because Muhammad had the hots for his daughter-in-law and married her. That's just what Joseph Smith did with polygamy and getting caught in adultery. I can't believe Shad still talks to you. I don't blame his adopted son. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. All right, let's look this up. All right. So Louisa Beeman was single, age 26 when he married her. Zena Diantha Huntington, age 20, was previously married to Henry Jacobs. Whoopsie. Presendia Lathrop Huntington, age 31, was already married to Norman Buell. Agnes Moulton Coolbrith, she was widowed, so that doesn't count, but age 33, widowed. Mary Elizabeth Rollins Leitner, age 23, was previously married to Adam Leitner. Patty Bartlett Sessions, age 47, was already married to David Sessions. Delcina Johnson, age 37, was already married, but widowed or separated from Lyman Sherman, which would again take her away, sealed to her, taking away her sealing from her first husband. Martha McBride Knight, age 30, was widowed. Same deal. Ruth Voss Sayers was already married to Edward Sayers. Flora Ann Woodworth, single. Emily Dow Partridge, single. Eliza Marie Partridge, single. Notice those names? Oh, yeah, they were sisters. What does the Bible say about marrying a woman and her sister while they're still alive? That's a sin, guys. That's called a sin. Just look in Leviticus. You can only marry a woman's sister after the first woman has died. You cannot marry two sisters at the same time. Sorry, brother. Elmera Woodward Johnson, age 30, single. Okay, Lucy Walker, single. Sarah Lawrence, age 16. Not that that's a big deal. Oh, but Maria Lawrence, age 20, the sister of Sarah Lawrence. So again, didn't Jacob do that? Yeah, he did, but that was prior to the Mosaic Law. There's Mosaic Law, bro. People would marry literally their own sisters prior to the Mosaic Law. Helen Mar Kimball, single. All right, age 14. Look, I'm not going to judge. This was a long time ago. Age 14 was in the window. Hannah Ellis, age 19, single. Elvira Ann Cowles Holmes, age 25, married or widowed to Jonathan Holmes. Rhoda Richards, Olive Gray Frost, single, widowed. Melissa Lott, single. Nancy Maria Winchester, age 15 to 16, single. Already married women. I think I already listed them. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 already married women. Notes: Fanny Alger, age 16, often considered the first plural wife. So Fanny Alger is the one he got caught having an adulterous affair with, and then said, "Oh, I got a vision from God. It's not adultery. We're supposed to be polygamous." Maybe you should have Maybe you should have had the vision about polygamy before you had the affair. Plural marriages were religious sealings for eternity, not civil. Which, again, to my mind, if you are a Mormon and you believe in eternal sealings, that should be way, way more offensive to you. These are all true. You can look these up yourself, guys. You can look these up yourself. Why is it that doesn't bother you? Let's just to the Mormons in the crowd. Why is it doesn't bother you that Joseph Smith eternally stole the sealed wives of his followers? Can you just riddle me that? Sarah was Abraham's half sister, so when Abraham said she's my sister, he wasn't lying from a certain point of view. Well, he wasn't lying from a certain point of view. The Bible is rife with examples where polygamy is a bad thing, none bigger than King Solomon. That's true. So when are we doing D and Q again? We should be doing D and Q again soon. Damn it, Mike is still here. I mean, oh, good, Mike is getting healthy. Yeah, I'm not Robert Mueller. Sorry, again, the people that are getting their feathers ruffled about Trump saying he's glad Robert Mueller is dead. The dude witch hunted him for years, destroyed lives, so much that one of the guys he was witch hunting killed himself. And he tried to put Trump and his family in prison for years based on known fraudulent documents. I'm not going to blame Trump at all for being glad he's dead. At all. Tina says, I don't remember the Bible saying anything to do with marrying about keeping it in the family. Yeah, and Jacob was tricked into it. That's a good point, Dr. Y. He was tricked into it. That was messed up. Shad's willingness to engage with you is a credit to his Christianity, not yours. I'm willing to engage with Shad. Shad said that Trinitarians were demonic. So Shad obviously thinks that I'm demonic, or I believe a demonic thing. So if I believe that he believes a demonic thing, it's a wash. How is his quote unquote Christianity a greater testimony than mine? He's on there. He's also dedicated a channel. That's a funny thing. He's dedicated a channel to defending Mormonism, but in the process, he's demeaning real Christianity. So we're not doing anything different there, Geek Out Loud. Still waiting for someone of the Mormon faith in the chat, and I know there's a couple of you here, to explain to me why it doesn't bother you that Joseph Smith eternally stole previously eternal wives from his followers. Anyone? Trust me, Mike is more than willing to engage. I've seen it firsthand. Yeah. The NQ topic should be Chuck Norris. We've done Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris roundhouse kick the treasonous Mueller straight to hell. Ooh. Ooh, ah. I guess I'm not going to get an answer to that because this is what we call, oh, darn it, the cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, where Mormons understand that an eternal sealing is so, it's vital. It's of vital importance to their faith, right? I'm going to get married to this woman and be eternally sealed to her throughout all the heavens that I may travel to. She will be my eternal spirit goddess wife that I can populate another planet with. And yet, Joseph Smith outright stole the eternal wives of his followers, who had to be okay with it because they thought of him as God, which basically is what they do. Who wrote the Book of Mormon? Some demon, Thomas, honestly. Some fallen angel. Which is it? Did Joseph Smith do polygamy for sex or for the eternal stealing? Both. The first one was for sex. Fanny Alger. He was just banging her. Got caught banging her. Got report. One of his, and it was one of the highest up guys. And I can't remember his name, but one of like the highest up guys in the church is the one that saw them banging in the barn, and then told his wife, I think. And then Joseph Smith kicked him out of the church. Like, how dare you? It is a great sin to catch me committing adultery. But Mormons don't care about that because they think, because Joseph Smith is their idol. That same angel that wrote the Quran. Yeah, in all likelihood. Just taking a different tact on spreading another gospel. Pick a narrative, bro. What did I change? What did I change? What changed in what I said? While we were talking about overextension of roles, how about the Pope saying bombing the Iranians was anti-Christianity? I don't listen to the Pope. The Pope is not my spiritual leader. He was the American Muhammad. They do call him the American Muhammad. So some of these polygamous wives were for the sex. I'm imagining the older ones were, I don't know, because they made a great fruit cake. I don't know why he stole the older ones. But there were a handful of older ones that were probably a little older than you'd be like, hey, get in my sack. But regardless, that's still an eternal stealing. Eternal stealing, which, look, Geek Out Loud won't address. He won't address it. But you know what? It's going to gnaw at your brain. It's going to gnaw at your brain until you realize what a sinful, selfish person Joseph Smith was. Anti-Mormons say Smith did it for sex unless he didn't consummate. Then they changed the narrative. Well, that's what I'm saying. The older ones, I sincerely doubt. Fanny Alger, who obviously he was caught in an adult in the act with, it was for sex. Both things can be true at the same time. He can have different motivations for stealing other men's wives. But it doesn't change the fact that he stole their eternal wives. Geek out loud. Why aren't you addressing that fact? Why is that not sinking into your thick skull? Joseph Smith published a book in 1830 stating he translated it from these plates by the gift and power of God. Right. In a better universe, Joseph Smith was an early American fantasy writer. Yeah. Eternal stealing is not a thing, bro. So in the Mormon religion, when you are sealed to your wife, it is eternal, correct? I know this is correct. It is an eternal sealing, right? Yes. If Joseph Smith eternally seals himself to, oh, that's interesting. So by your argument then, those women in eternity have multiple husbands. Is that a Mormon doctrine? Women can have multiple husbands? Kind of put yourself in a little trap there, Geek Out Loud. My God, Joseph Smith could have been Brandon Sanderson. Come on, everybody. Eternal stealing is not a thing. Let's go shopping. Caleb, what's up, buddy? What are you signing? A real L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah, like legit. The Pope is the leader of the Catholic Church. The same created by an emperor said, if I can't beat them, then I'll join them and rule them. Then made himself the first Pope. Who was the first Pope? I know the Catholic Church tries to say that that Peter was the first Pope, but Peter was not. Peter would have not allowed himself to be called Pope because the Bible says Jesus in the Bible himself says, let no man call you father. I mean, obviously this discounts your earthly father, but let no man take the position of your father on earth, right? Is essentially what he's saying. So he's saying, let no man call you father. What does Pope mean? Pope is Papa. It means father. So Peter would definitely not have been the first Pope. Hail chat, just been enjoying the conversation. Hail Desert Nomad, welcome, welcome. All right, well, we're well over an hour. So Paul, first Pope by what measure? The guy after Peter? There. I don't know who. According to the Roman Catholic tradition, St. Peter the Apostle is considered the first Pope, but he never would have let himself be called the Pope, Papa. All records of Smith. I don't know what that means. Anyways, if you got more to say about it, feel free to mention it in the chat. Otherwise, hey, maybe if one of you want to start your own religion, you can go grab yourself a seer stone, aka in modern terminology, go grab yourself a Ouija board and invite some evil spirits into your life, and then ask them to help you write your own new version of the gospel. That's basically what Joseph Smith did. So, actually not recommending that. I'm being sarcastic. Do not do that. Do not touch seer stones or Ouija boards or tarot cards or any kind of divination, crystal balls, all those kind of things that are supposed to help you speak with spirits other than the one true God. All right. I guess Mike forgot about judge them by their fruits. Stay away from the Ouija boards. I didn't forget about it. The conversation just went all over the place. So if you want to jump back into the Discord or just ask in the chat or in the thing, I can't keep talking. My voice is already dragging out. So wrong streamer. What? Stay away from Mormonism. All right. Anyways, that's it. Thanks, guys. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll address those. So yeah, Joseph Smith had some very sour fruits. Yeah, stealing wives, committing adultery, not the best of fruits. All right. God bless you guys. We'll see you later.